So next we're going to go through one of the breakouts. Okay, for each one of those motions for the top tier, there's a breakout associated with it, so it can get pretty confusing. Okay, so we're going to go through the multi-segmental flexion. If that was dysfunctional, what to do on the breakout. So Gianna's going to pass a couple of these tests. For the sake of going through that full breakout, we're going to pretend she fails each one of them, and we're going to bring it to the full breakout today. Okay, so remember, there's 3 different things that we can do to break out each session. We could change the stability requirements of the test. We can eliminate body parts, or we can do active versus passive motion. So you're going to see all 3 of those variations mixed in for this full breakout session here. So to minimize the weight-bearing stability requirements, we're going to do a long sitting, forward bending toe touch test. Okay, so we're looking again, sacral angle over 70 degrees, which is there. Can she touch her toes? Perfect. We're looking for that spinal motion again. We're still getting a little bit of that flat lumbar spine, so most of that is coming from that thoracic and cervical flexion there. So I'll term that dysfunctional. Okay, so I'm going to give you a diagnosis if it's functional or dysfunctional, how to diagnose that according to the SFMA. So if she was able to touch her toes, spinal curve looked really good, all those aspects looked really good as well, she'd have a diagnosis of a weight-bearing spinal flexion, motor control dysfunction. Okay, but since we're terming it dysfunctional, we're going to keep going along the lines here. So now we need to distinguish, is it coming from the spine itself or the hip itself? So we're going to break up these body parts a little bit. So we're going to screen the hip first. Okay, so John, I'm going to have you lie all the way back down. We're going to do an active straight leg raise test. So keeping the right knee nice and straight, I'm going to have you raise that all the way up toward ceiling. We're looking for over 70 degrees here, which she hits nicely. And then that right side again passes both of them. So if she was able to clear this, it's functional. We would consider the hip flexion, motor control stability requirement to be normal, and we just move on to test the spine. But for the sake of the breakout, we're going to say she did not pass that, so dysfunctional. So what we want to test out next is if the pelvic orientation has a role in that test right there. So we know that the way the pelvis is orientated can alter the position of the acetabulum. So in order to engage that core and reset that acetabular position, I'm going to ask Gianna to put her hands above. We're going to do the active straight leg raise test. I'm going to apply a little resistance here to engage the core. I'm going to ask her to repeat the test. So if there's a decrease in pain or it's now become functional, okay, good. And then the opposite side. Good. So if it's functional here, now we can term that diagnosis as a pelvic and core stability and motor control dysfunction. If it's still dysfunctional, we know that pelvic orientation does not have a role in clearing that test. So now we're going to go break it down to active versus passive. Okay, so I'm going to do that straight leg raise test for her. We're looking for 80 degrees here for passive. Okay, so again, she's able to clear this guy. So if this guy is functional, both sides now, we would term her diagnosis as a hip flexion stability motor control dysfunction. If this was dysfunctional, then what we do is we would try to find out if that mobility restriction, is it coming from hip flexion itself, or is it more of a posterior chain mobility dysfunction? So last breakout here for the hips is a double knees to chest. So John, I'm going to have your knees together, pull both knees to your chest. We're looking for 120 degrees here of hip flexion without increased lumbar flexion there off the table, and she's able to hit that very nicely. So if she was dysfunctional all the way up until this point, we would give her a diagnosis of a posterior chain mobility dysfunction, which we could further do some testing to classify which muscle there in the posterior chain is limiting her. If that right there was dysfunctional, then we would term her as a hip flexion mobility dysfunction with a possible posterior chain mobility dysfunction as well. Okay, so that right there is just breaking down the hips. The last thing that we're going to do here is screen out the spine right there. So right there we found out that Gianna from the get-go, active straight leg raise was functional both sides, so her hip was fine. Her hip flexion was normal. So we're going to try to screen out her spinal motion here next. So Gianna, I'm going to have you go on your hands and knees. Okay, so here's the prone rocking test. From this position, I'm going to ask Gianna to sit back onto her heels. Okay, arms go by her side, and then head down onto the table. So what we're looking for is a nice uniform spinal curve. That sacral angle again, at least at 70 degrees or greater, which we are hitting, okay? And we're still seeing a little bit of that flat lumbar spine and then a nice spinal curve from the thoracic to cervical area here as well. So right here, I would term this as dysfunctional. Okay, so a couple ways to diagnose this, and Jan, you can come right back up, thank you. So since it was dysfunctional, we know that Gianna has a spinal flexion mobility dysfunction there. If she was able to achieve a nice uniform curve there in a non-weight bearing position, but was unable to in that weight bearing position as well, we would term that as a spinal flexion stability, motor control dysfunction in a weight bearing format. Okay, so that's a full breakdown of just the multi-segmental flexion. Like I mentioned, there's a bunch of breakouts for each one of the motions, so it can get pretty confusing. That's where that 10 hours of coursework and content comes from. All right, thanks for watching.